like, what we wanted our audience to look like. And kind of keep that in mind, right? That we're sitting in good seats, that we're being attentive, eyes forward, good posture, being a good listener. Right? So Charlie's leading us off today, and we're excited that he's going first. Charlie, proud of his growth during middle school. I get a chance to see everybody like through 5th grade all the way into 8th grade, and I think Charlie's a shining example of how great collegiate has been for him, right? Coming in 6th grade, changing schools, finding a new friend group, exploring all these different sports. He has steadily matured and grown over these last few years. He's a strong academic student who's conscientious about getting good marks and always asking good clarifying questions when he's unsure about something. He's good about advocating for himself when he needs it, and he's done a really nice job working through this neat speech. I'm excited for him to share everything with you all today. Ready to go? Ready to go?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Here we go.
The quote I chose is, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get," by Forrest Gump. I like this quote because not everything's going to work out exactly the way you want it to, but you can still turn it into something good. I came to collegiate for middle school. The first sport I played there was soccer, and the practices started before school did. No one I knew from my old school was at the first practice, and I remember being nervous because I didn't know anyone. I didn't want to go, but it ended up being not bad at all. Over the course of the season, I was able to form relationships with new people, and our team was actually pretty good. We ended up losing in the championship to Anchorage. That was a big change from my old school, where the sports teams weren't the best, and we weren't used to winning. I think I was something like 2-30 in elementary school basketball. That was the best soccer team I was on, as we were pretty bad the next year, when we split up into 3 teams, and I was on the second team. We were even worse in 8th grade, but it was a cool moment when we won our first game after starting something like 0-9. Later on in 6th grade, I played basketball and lacrosse. I'd never played lacrosse before, and neither had many of the other kids on the team. At first, I didn't think I was going to play, but I ended up signing up, and I'm glad I did, as it's probably my favorite sport. The rides to practice and our coach's band that season were very fun, as we'd always listen to music very loudly. We weren't very good, but we swept KCD and got our coach to hit the gritty after a win. I enjoyed playing indoor lacrosse at King Louis with Mr. Keys and his dad this season and last season, and it's helped me improve. We even ended up going undefeated and winning the championship last year in spring. The whole team took a picture, and everyone got a picture of the trophy. Sports, quickly I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Keys' dad, Coach K, because he's helped me improve greatly. Sports have allowed me to make relationships with many of my good friends and just have fun. I'll always look back on middle school sports positively, whether it was ordering DoorDash in lacrosse study hall, hanging out with friends after a game, or celebrating a win. Academics at collegiate weren't what I was used to. They even had different names for classes than at Chance. For example, history was STEAM studies, and English was literature. I wasn't used to a grading system either. At Chance, there was just S, which was satisfactory, or NW, which was needs work. I never had homework either. School was pretty easy, and I never had to study or do any work outside of class until now. I learned how to manage my time before, so I wasn't overwhelmed with homework, and to put study hours to good use. Before coming to collegiate, I had to take a placement test to see what math class I ended up in. Math was one of my favorite subjects in lower school, but it was like middle school math was completely different, and I missed spending whole units on addition. I skipped bridge to algebra and started in algebra A. The math teacher was Miss Bowling, who was my advisor. She made us take a lot of notes, but was a good teacher. In 7th grade, we had Mr. Franco. We had a midterm and a final, which prepared me because we're having those in every class this year. The hardest part of that class was quadratics. I enjoyed making my casino game that year with Sadler and Elliott. We made a game where people would bet on horse racing and college basketball games, and I think we made by far the most money. I thought math couldn't get any harder, but then we learned about proofs this year in geometry with Miss T. The thing about proofs is that aren't just a single unit, but something you'll have to use in different types of math in later classes. Hope I did well on my test today. One of my favorite classes is also history. I especially liked learning about American history with Mr. Haas. I liked that he didn't make us memorize dates and actually made class interesting. All the note-taking about the Constitution was a little boring, but I enjoyed learning about how the country was founded. My favorite part was all the debating, was all the debating in the court cases and arguing over who we thought should win. Another part of the academic side of collegiate is Kuna and KYA. I did them both in 7th grade and Kuna again in 8th. At first, I just thought of them as staying in a hotel with my friends for 2 nights, but I ended up really enjoying the process of making a solution to a real-life problem, especially in KYA, where the problems affected us as it was about to Kentucky. My KYA bill was going great until our group was split into 2. It was Sadler and Elliott who split off to work on something else, and it was me, Lake, Sam, and Mason still in one group. After that, it wasn't the same, and we didn't end up getting our bill passed, but I had a lot of fun at the conference and got to speak about other people's bills. The second day felt way longer as I got no sleep the night before, but going to the Capitol and eating at Claudia Sanders for lunch was fun. You got to know what being a real delegate was like and debated in the same rooms as they did. For Kuna, instead of being a bill sponsor, I was Parade of Nations, when we made a poster for our country. I got Mozambique, but my group was kind of a train wreck. We wanted to start over because we mixed all the colors on our board, so instead of having the Mozambique flag, it was just brown. We tried painting over that with a different color, which just made it worse, like gray. Harris had to get a new poster from Walgreens a couple days before, and in the end, I'd like to say I was proud of what we ended up doing. Social. I'd known I was coming to collegiate for most of the summer, but I still wasn't prepared for the process of making new friends and meeting new people. At my old school, there were only 16 kids in my grade, and I only had about 4 good friends. I'd gone to Shan since I was 3, so I wasn't used to having to make new friends, and I was nervous for the first day. I met people at soccer before the year started, but I was still hesitant to talk to them, so I mostly stuck with people from my old school for the first week. I was placed in an advisory with no one I knew, but everyone was very welcoming. The first person I remember talking to was Will. I talked to Will almost every advisory for the rest of the year, and we became good friends, and still are today. It wasn't until the second semester of 6th grade where I became comfortable around more people, and it wasn't until 7th grade that I found the friend group I'm still a part of today. A big part of that was my arts class. No one I talked to the year before was in it, so it made me talk to a different group of people and branch out. They are very inclusive of me, and I had so much fun in that class. All the kids I talked to in it are still good friends of mine. I grew closer with kids through KY and Kuna as well as the overnight trips like Mammoth Caves and Cumberland Falls. I never had the same people in my room twice, so it made me grow closer with different kids. Also had a lot of fun with friends through sports, whether it's playing basketball or football in co-advisory, or going home with someone after a game. Sports have helped me find my friends. Friends have made my life at school better, as well as my time at home, as I like going on FaceTimes with them to play video games. My friends and my parents know that I tend to get very loud while I'm playing. I'm very happy with the relationships I've made. Almost none of my good friends are who I was friends with during 6th grade, which ties into my quote. One of my favorite memories is going on a hunting trip with some of my friends. I'd never hunted before, but once I learned how to, I had a lot of fun. We'd hunt for most of the day and then ride the side-by-side vehicles, where James almost killed me by going around the 90-degree turn on one wheel. At night, we would watch horror movies. The trip helped me grow closer with people. Another one of my best times was the summer going into 8th grade when I went to Florida with Harris and Noah. We swam, played football on the beach, and walked to dinner, and then had intense poker games at night with Noah's dad. I'd always been an extroverted and loud person, so I'm the happiest time when I'm with people. So, my parents got divorced early February of 2023. It came as a shock to me, and it didn't feel real. I wasn't expecting it, and it came out of nowhere. However, it ended up not being bad at all, and I still regularly see my dad while living with my mom, and my parents still have a good relationship, even if they're no longer married. This, of course, also meant we'd have to move because they'd have separate houses. We ended up moving by the end of March, so a year ago. My mom got a house and my dad got an apartment downtown. I mostly stay with my mom, but I love my dad's place. I have my own room, and I've seen Jack Harlow and Kenny Payne there. My mom's house is close to a lot of other collegiate kids, which is nice, as all my neighbors used to be old people. I'm also an only child. There have been pros and cons to this, but I've always wanted siblings. It's been nice sometimes to not have some annoying younger kid always there, but it's also boring, which is why I like to hang out with my friends. A big part of my family is my cat, Bobby. I got Bobby when I was 2.5. I remember that I insisted on naming him then, but I don't remember why. Bobby's always been there. He doesn't really like people, but he's fun to come home to after a long day of practice and to see him there lying in my room. He does make it hard at night though, because he won't shut shut up unless you feed him. You can tell we feed him. Another big part of my life is the Adirondacks. The Adirondacks is a national park in New York. For as long as I can remember, I've gone there every summer for at least a week. It's nice because there aren't a lot of people. My mom's been going there since she was a kid too. We used to rent a cabin, but 2 years ago my aunt and uncle bought a place. One reason it's so special is because we're always there for my birthday, which makes it fun. Almost my whole family on my mom's side is there every year. I have so much fun hiking, swimming, making fires, going on boat rides, playing games, and just spending time with my cousins and the rest of my family. I've even gone to a wedding and rode in a seaplane up there. I may go to a sleepaway camp there in a few years too. It's a highlight for me every summer, and I wish the time there never had to come to an end. My first dedication is to my parents. You both are always there for me. You never miss my games and make sure I stay on top of my work, even when I don't want to. I'm so grateful to both of you. My second dedication is to my grandma, Nani. She doesn't have a typical grandma role where I only see her occasionally. I see her almost every day, and she's even used to live with me before I moved. She's always been in my life. She's taught me a lot and is a big part of the person I am today. I never had to have a babysitter, as she'd take care of me when my parents were working, and she's like a mother to me. My final dedication is Miss Pina. English has been by far my favorite class this year. I've loved the group work and the class discussions. Miss Pina has helped me get better at writing and speaking. She's also patient when me and my friends sometimes struggle to stay on task, as Sam and James would know. The quote I chose is, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get," by Forrest Gump. This quote follows me, whether it was me trying lacrosse for the first time, being friends with people I barely talked to during 6th grade, or my parents getting divorced. You never know what life is going to bring. I'm very happy with my time in middle school. I got to have so many fun experiences, from Kuna to DC, sports, or friends. I made relationships that I hope to continue forging into high school, and I'm excited to see what it brings. Thank you.